The battlefield of the 21st century has vastly extended from the traditional and the real to the invisible empire of the digital. And as empires controlled and still control trade routes, they also seek to dominate the digital landscape. The connections that at first were sold as a form of progress are now revealed to be a form of reborn colonialism. And if Ibero-America don't build our own system, we surrender not just our privacies, but our very ability to think, to govern, and to resist. The danger of having a culture, economy, or an entire military surrounded by foreign powers turning our digital services switched to off is that it's not just hyperbole, it's a very real threat. Dependence on foreign tech is also not just about servers, it's about surrendering ourselves. Every algorithm, every platform, every cloud service embeds its creator's worldview. Russian philosopher Alexander Dugin warns this in his ideas of ontological imperialism, where the tools we use silently dictate how we see truth, history, and even reality itself. In China, Yu Hui calls it techno-colonialism, a system where even the free nations remain digital slaves because their cultures are filtered to the biases of the Silicon Valley. To exist in this digital age as sovereign nations, our region needs three non-negotiable pillars. We need to upgrade our physical infrastructure with data centers and satellites that are not owned by foreign corporations. And we also need the capacity to produce our own chips and machines so we don't depend on their market. We also need autonomous networks, which create an independent internet backbone, like what Russia and China have, that cannot be unplugged by outsiders in case of conflict or sanctions. And we also need cultural firewalls, not just for censorship, but the ability to define which algorithms and narratives are able to shape the public thought. Without these things, you don't have a free region, you don't have a free country, you have a digital province. As we look to the world for footprints or alternatives, we must look at China and Russia. China didn't just block Western services, they rebuilt their entire internet and technological architecture around their own civilizational values. In Russia, despite sanctions and war, were able to force technological autonomy through laws mandating law code data storage and domestic alternatives like Yandex, even at the cost of some technological backdrops from not having the ability to produce their own tech in certain areas. Even Uruguay's agencies show some signs that small nations can reclaim control, even if they are still a bit too open to external access. But in the current digital era, when you outsource your digital spine, you don't just risk sabotage. You erase your people's capacity to imagine a future outside someone else's system, not only through their mechanisms, through their technology, but through the way they think. And it's time that Ibero-America searches for their own way to advance in this digital world.